it looks like Jen Rosati and Dawn Staley and all those folks that Cheryl Reeve, who had a hand in Caitlyn Clark not making Team USA last year in the Olympics, the actual committee, looks like they may be gone.
What happens when the most marketable female basketball player in the world gets left off the Olympic roster? Apparently, heads start to roll.
I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around. Because Caitlyn Clark's not on the team. If she's there, it's appointment TV. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum, and study it for how dumb you are.
Following the Olympic snub, USA Basketball has announced a complete overhaul of its selection process, and people are being removed left and right in what feels like pure karma unfolding in real time. With Sue Bird now stepping into a position of influence, the Indiana Fever Stars' path to Los Angeles 2028 suddenly looks dramatically different. No one expected the fallout from that decision to hit this hard. What really went down between Cheryl Reeve and the U.S. Olympic Committee? Drop CC 2028 in the comments if you're ready to see Caitlyn light up the next Olympics, because that moment is coming.
It used to be a committee. Dawn Staley, Jennifer Rosati, and all of the hooligans associated in picking the USA basketball team. All of the hooligans, Cheryl Reeves included, so full of themselves, so bound by tribalism that they just couldn't look past their own nose. And at the end of the day, look at them now. Look at them now. The same fate as Cheryl Swoops calling those Dallas Wings games. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Caitlyn Clark was off the Olympic roster for a mix of reasons. Or at least that's the story they wanted everyone to buy. Jen Rosati, chair of the selection committee, insisted the choice was based purely on basketball criteria. Experience mattered, international play mattered, and according to her, popularity and marketability didn't play any role at all.
Remember during the Olympics, the person from either South Korea or Japan, holding up the Caitlyn Clark sign? Team USA looked at that gentleman and said, $, $, $. These people over there in Japan, these people over there in South Korea, they're not paying for Team USA to come and watch hoop, but they'll pay for Caitlyn Clark. In fact, they are so strong about voicing that they'll pay for Caitlyn Clark, they'll come to the Olympic game holding a sign that says, you guys remember.
Hold on. So we're supposed to believe they ignored the most influential player in women's basketball, the same one who shattered nearly every NCAA scoring record and reshaped the entire sport in a single year. Make that make sense. And saying popularity didn't matter is one thing, but pretending she lacked international experience is another. Caitlyn played for Team USA in the FIBA U19 tournament, won gold twice, and was named tournament MVP. Hardly the resume of someone not
international experience.
Decision on his part. Caitlyn Clark is PR. That's where, how can they leave her? Once again, everybody's, out to get her. They don't want to grow the...
Let's examine what really happened once Clark hit the WNBA, because the impact was instant and impossible to ignore. Every city the Fever traveled to saw ticket prices skyrocket, and arenas that once struggled to fill half their seats suddenly had standing room-only crowds. More people tuned in to Indiana's opener against the Connecticut Sun than to any NBA playoff game that same weekend. An unheard-of moment in WNBA history. Her rookie jersey became the league's top seller by a mile, and during her electric debut season, she shattered 62 records, rewriting what a first-year player could
62 records.
We got to remember, the National Basketball Association, the NBA, the commissioner, Adam Silver, he came right out and said, I wouldn't have left Caitlyn Clark off that team. And he even said, and several others said, women's basketball really dropped the ball on an opportunity to grow the women's game by leaving Caitlyn Clark off that team.
These improvements weren't insignificant. The way people watched women's basketball had shifted dramatically, and yet, for reasons no one could quite grasp, the Olympic Committee decided this athlete somehow wasn't worth a spot on the team. The reaction was instant and explosive. Fans were furious. Insiders in the sport saw straight through the weak justification, and Stephen A. Smith tore into the decision, calling it a deliberate blow to women's basketball at a crucial turning point. Four-time Olympic gold medalist Lisa Leslie went even further, calling it the biggest marketing disaster the
Basketball
sport had ever
history.
seen.
This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision?
What
What do you know?
This exposed a system frozen in time, run by people terrified of change. The committee acted like women's basketball was still fighting for scraps of attention back in 2004, completely blind to the reality that Clark was far more than a standout player. She was a once-in-a-generation spark capable of elevating the entire sport on a global stage. Think about it. During the Olympics, casual fans tune in to sports they barely follow any other time, discovering new stars in the process. And yet, the committee deliberately chose to shut out the one athlete who had already proven she could pull
Those particular
very fans
viewers.
in.
Dummies. For the first time, like in the history of basketball, you have arguably a player who is the most popular player in the world. Like, you could argue right now, Caitlyn Clark is the most talked about, discussed, most popular, most puts asses in the seats, single basketball player in the world. You could argue that. Yeah, you could say maybe LeBron, Luka, whatever you want, but you can argue it. And you leave her off the Olympics team, it's not only a showcase for her, it's for the sport and the other WNBA players who are on this team. How dumb, how brain dead, how idiotic do the people running this thing have to be?
This has to do with
women's basketball slipping out of the spotlight. Something had to break, because the committee's stubborn devotion to valuing experience over star power had finally triggered a full-blown PR disaster. The outrage was impossible to ignore. The mistake was too blatant to defend. And even though the public response was fiery, the Olympic snub turned out to be only the most visible piece of a much deeper problem. Behind the scenes, USA basketball was cracking in ways that could no longer be hidden. The Clark decision wasn't a one-off slip. It was the inevitable result of a system so dysfunctional it was beginning to collapse under the weight of its creators.
I think if Caitlyn Clark would have played, it would have been the biggest ratings of the Olympic Games last year. All right? And yeah, I don't know what it could have done to women's basketball.
Cheryl Reeve wants you to believe she played no role in Caitlyn Clark's shocking omission from the Olympic team. She claimed her influence over the selection was minimal and that she bore the brunt of the criticism aimed at USA basketball. But the facts tell a very different story, one that paints a far less innocent picture of the coach's involvement.
But as a coach of the home team, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that other side. I mean,
I don't get two shits.
How about one?
Not even one shit.
Any second guessing here about not having Clark on the Olympic team?
From me? No.
Reeve had a clear impact.
Absolutely not. Reeve's influence on the selection process was undeniable, even if she wasn't the only voice at the table. Jen Rosati, chair of the selection committee, confirmed that the team was built around Reeve's coaching style. So when Reeve insists she had no authority, what she's really saying is that she didn't want to face the backlash when fans demanded answers for why the most dominant player in women's basketball was left watching from home.
Along with nearly losing the gold medal game to France, the U.S. women's team was caught up in controversy leading up to the Olympics because Caitlyn Clark was not on the team. The argument not to take Clark, a rising global megastar in the sport, was in part because she had not participated in many Team USA offseason functions, and also because there were women with more national team experience who had earned the right to play at the Olympics.
Take a close look at the final roster. The veterans picked all fit Reeve's criteria, players who valued defense over pure offensive firepower. Every choice the committee made aligned seamlessly with the Minnesota-linked philosophy she championed. And make no mistake, that approach nearly cost Team USA the gold medal.
She is good enough to be on the team. Based on how Caitlyn Clark was playing, at the time, she was worthy of being on this team. This is Caitlyn Clark up against Jewel Lloyd, Diana Taurasi, and Kelsey Plum. Yeah. It's tough when you see it in front of you, right? Chelsea Gray's not even on this graph. Why isn't Chelsea Gray on this graph, you may ask? Great question. Chelsea Gray started the beginning of the season injured.
Do you recall that showdown against France? In a game Team USA was supposed to dominate, they barely eked out a 67-66 win. The offense faltered when it mattered most. Each time the defense swarmed Jewel Lloyd or Brianna Stewart in the paint, the ball stalled, and the three-point threat was nowhere near enough. This is exactly why someone like Clark could have swung the game. Too often, the team seemed drained of the energy and creativity that define her style, moving through plays with a sluggishness and predictability that made every possession feel riskier
And predictable.
than it should have been.
Caitlyn Clark, based on skill, based on how she was performing, deserved to be on that team. Based on Chelsea Gray coming off hobbled from injury, you don't even know the status of her as a player. Caitlyn Clark should have been on that team. She was easily one of the best players from Jump Street. Her struggling, oh my God, she's struggling with 16 points, 6 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. Oh my God, the struggle. She's shooting 39%. Yeah, Jewel Lloyd always shoots like trash. Kelsey, you got... Come on, guys.
Clark
herself
delivered
provided
the harshest rebuke to Reeve's decision. Before being snubbed for the Olympics, she averaged 15.6 points and 6.3 assists per game, but after being cut, those numbers skyrocketed to nearly 23 points and 9.5 assists, including a jaw-dropping 19-assist game. She even shattered the WNBA rookie record. Clark didn't just improve. She exploded onto the court, making the committee's judgment about her readiness look
preparedness
completely
seem absurd.
Look at this. These are the top 3 scorers in the WNBA since the women brought home gold in the Olympics a few weeks ago. 2 of the members are of the Indiana Fever, Caitlyn Clark and Kelsey Mitchell.
The way
handled
Reeves
the
had
situation only made things worse. Why the hell would I answer a national team question? She snapped at a reporter asking about Clark's Olympic chances after a game. As the questioning grew uncomfortable, she made it clear she was distancing herself from any Olympic responsibility, even flaunting her Minnesota Lynx gear. This wasn't just one bad moment. It revealed a leadership unwilling to evolve alongside women's basketball. Sure, Team USA took home the gold, but they came frighteningly close to losing.
South Carolina had to the national championship, a perfect season. Obviously, Caitlyn Clark. And there was so much conversation on, should Caitlyn be on the U.S. women's national team? You were part of the selection group. Mm-hmm. Give me your read on that now that we've got a little bit of time and we can get into some clear air to see what happened.
Right. When, as a committee member, you're charged with putting together the best team of players, the best talent. Caitlyn is just a rookie in the WNBA. Wasn't playing bad, but wasn't playing like she's playing now. If we had to do it all over again, the way that she's playing, she would be in really high consideration of making it.
The team's poor performance,
Reeve's questionable roster decisions, and her defensiveness toward any criticism collided to create a perfect storm. Something had to give. A system that valued tradition over talent and star power simply couldn't carry USA
basketball.
She is playing head and shoulders above a lot of people, shooting the ball extremely well. I mean, she is an elite passer.
If we were playing how she's playing now, she would be in high consideration. They can't even admit to themselves. If she was playing how she's playing now, yeah, she would definitely be on the team. We could have had our cake and eat it too. We got Kobe and LeBron on the same team. We did.
The Clark issue revealed
far more than flaws in the selection process. It laid bare fundamental problems in USA Basketball's entire approach to team building. The fallout went beyond swapping coaches or adding players. It demanded a complete reimagining of what Olympic basketball could and should be.
Sue Bird is expected to be announced as the managing director for the USA women's national team for the 2028 Olympic cycle. She will take on what is known as the Grant Hill role, selecting player rosters and coaching staff. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with the WNBA or the women's side of Team USA, and Grant Hill's a little bit new in this role, Jerry Colangelo role. Jerry Colangelo, the godfather of Team USA basketball from 2005 to 2021, picking, I want him, I want him, I want him, I want him.
USA
the entire women's
Olympic program to its core. Sue Bird, 5-time Olympic gold medalist, 4-time WNBA champion, and undeniably one of the sport's all-time legends, will take over as managing director of the women's national team. This isn't just a new face in charge. It signals a complete overhaul in how Olympic teams will be
completely redesigned.
USA Basketball will announce a major shift in its structuring on Thursday when Sue Bird is announced as the managing director for the USA Women's National Team 2028 cycle. Her hiring is a departure from a long-standing structure of using a committee to select players and coaches for national team rosters and comes on the heels of a very close call for the USA Women.
The announcement marks a major shift in authority, first reported by The Athletic and confirmed by multiple sources. Bird won't sit on some vague advisory committee. She'll have direct control over both coaching appointments and player selections. Sound familiar? It should. This is precisely the model Grant Hill has used to run the men's team since
the men's squad.
As financial opportunities for women grow in the sport and in marketing, USA Basketball wanted to make sure it was doing everything possible to ensure the allure of playing major international events remained strong, and a phone call from Bird is going to go a long way with players, one source close to the USA program said.
Consider the implications.
No more mysterious, behind-closed-doors committee decisions. No more coaches claiming they took the fall for choices they supposedly didn't make. With Bird, the buck stops here. Caitlyn Clark will be on the team if she wants to be. End of story. Beyond her basketball IQ, Bird's commercial savvy makes her perfect for the role. She understands what sells tickets and grows the game. She's openly acknowledged Clark's unique draw, praising her long-range threes and recognizing how Clark has shattered outdated perceptions of women's
were broken by
basketball.
Clark.
Sue Bird is taking over as managing director of USA Basketball. And this is done in a model of the men's way of doing it. Okay? She will have the say over who makes this team.
And this
That goes
far
beyond simple
mere praise. It's an acknowledgement of Clark's marketability. Bird gets it. She knows that star power matters just as much as traditional basketball skill. While winning gold remains the ultimate goal, the Olympics are about more than medals. They're about capturing the attention of millions of casual fans and turning them into lifelong supporters. Of the sport.
But Sue Bird's been a vocal supporter of Caitlyn Clark. The fact is, while everybody was coming down on Caitlyn Clark last year, so many, she was one that was trying to prop her up and was an advocate for Caitlyn. I do not think you will. Caitlyn Clark will not make that team next time. I can tell you that.
Bird also brings a level of credibility with current players that no one else can match. She's competed alongside or against nearly every star in the league. She knows who lifts their teammates, who cracks under pressure, and who meshes best with others. That insight is invaluable when building an Olympic roster. And the timing of this announcement isn't accidental. As the Clark controversy unfolded, USA Basketball witnessed the damage to the program's reputation, saw a gold medal game come dangerously close, and realized that as women's basketball enters its peak of popularity, clinging to the old structure was
unsustainable.
Bird's new role is a major change for USA Basketball. Previously, the women's team and coaching staff was named by committee. Now, that is Sue Bird's job. Wow.
Bird's appointment is a decisive break from tradition and politics. It signals that USA Basketball is finally ready to prioritize both elite talent and marketability when building teams. No more outdated thinking. No more cryptic committee decisions. Just clear, informed basketball selections from someone who understands both the game and its business. And for Caitlyn Clark, her odds of making the Olympic roster have skyrocketed, and the story of her potential redemption is only beginning to unfold.